because I know you guys are excited. Let's get this started up. To the top right-hand side, our blue Protoss player, we have Neeb from Ting. Up against the red Zerg in the bottom left-hand side, this is Reynor. What a Pros versus Zerg this should be. Neeb's PvZ the last couple days that I've been casting him in these qualifiers has looked absolutely incredible. Neeb even looked kind of good to almost take a map off of Maru, but didn't quite make it happen. We haven't seen anything of Reynor. He's been playing some ZvTs after being invited into this stage of the qualifier, so didn't see him in the American server qualifier. I wasn't casting day one. I don't know if he tried and he didn't make it or what. But, yeah. Reynor coming through this qualifier now, and this best of 5 will qualify one of these players to the Katowice group stages. So just getting this going and looking to see what the players are going to show us. I mean, again, for a best of 5, this could be a really, really, really epic series. Like, it could be absolutely insane. So I'm just hoping that we get some really good matches, because, I mean, why wouldn't we, right? Like, these guys are crazy good. We know they are. We expect great matches, and we usually get them when Neeb plays, when Reynor plays, and when they play against each other. It's pretty fab as well. So, yeah, pretty great. Let's get this going. Overlord just hanging around over here and getting this set up right now. Stargate dropping down from Neeb in the bottom left-hand side. So he's going to proxy a Stargate. So again, that's set up to go. We do see this probe heading towards the upper side of the map. Stargate coming in there, and obviously that's going to be Neeb looking to apply some early game pressure. Probe coming in towards the natural expansion. And again, just going to be seeing that Oracle being chrono boosted out for the moment. The Deb popping in towards the natural, and the two of them together will already pick off one drone. Now, Reynor doesn't have smoke rollers set up yet because he's not expecting an Oracle to be as fast as it is going to be off of the proxies. So let's be a little bit cautious about this, as two queens in the main could turn this around, but they're not exactly set up to greet the Oracle right away because he doesn't know about it at the moment. He doesn't know about it right now, as you are going to be seeing the Oracle flying in towards the main. And the queen, the second queen, actually already left. So already 2-3 drones going down, make that 4. Well, the 3 queens together now. Actually has the Oracle pretty low, but it will get not one more worker because it nearly goes down, but it will just about survive. And we've seen to the left side, the Lings did find out where that proxied Stargate is. The Oracle going to come in and chase a couple of those down to protect its pylon. And Neeb also going to start Corona boosting out a single Phoenix at the moment. We'll see if he goes for more than just a single one, or what his plan might be. The Overlord on the other side of the map is scouting around, and we'll see, well, a couple of extra gateways being thrown down at them, so far. It's just watching this for the moment. Five more drones on the way up here from Reynor. A couple of spores on the way out. So Reynor still get this going as we see this Overlord still in the main. I mean, Reynor sees absolutely everything. So he's really aware of what's going on. So obviously that's pretty good for him. He did end up shutting down the pylon on the Stargate, so no more production out of that for a while. And then the Lings, he doesn't want to waste too much time, so he brings them across towards the upper right to see what's going on. Lings still running around. Obviously, didn't want to use the Lings to kind of kill this Stargate. Wanted to use them to pressure across the map a little bit ASAP. Still leaving that Stargate up for now. I mean, it's not going to do too much from Neeb. So it's not too much of a concern as the Oracle coming down to the bottom. It's going to be hanging out. And, well, Baneley Nest on the way down. Plus one melee coming in. Neeb has got his third Nexus about to finish. And Shading Adepts across. Going to look to apply some pressure. So Neeb coming through the center, still leading in the work account here, has had a very successful game up until this point. As again, the Lings are going to be hanging out in the top left-hand side. Temple Archives dropping down in the natural. Lings going to be running back in, and the Nexus going to be surrounded by Zerglings there, as they are going to be actually maybe able to get the cancel. The Adepts out of position. The Oracle's on here. Even two Zealots warp in, but Reynor will get the cancel on the third base. Wow. What a shutdown there by Reynor. Was that even like a... That was a Nexus kill, not even a cancel. He killed the Nexus. Neeb misses the cancel too. Neeb making a couple of mistakes there at the moment. And as you do see this lair on the way up on the main, so getting that lair started. As you see the Zerglings are going to come in on the Stargate. Starting to work his way through this. And as again, Lings and Banes on the bottom side. Reynor still pressing some of this creep threat. Can't talk. Reynor still pressing some of this creep spread forward through the center. As you see, this Oracle is going to jump up into the main base. Queen here going to tag it and just deal a little bit of damage as a fourth hatchery from Reynor will start up. The Lings of Reynor go straight towards that third base again, but this time too many units here. Forces a cancel and a pylon still though. Extra gateways on the way down from Neeb as he gets his charges Organs. He's been very passive, Neeb. Hasn't really had any way to apply pressure. I mean, he had those Adepts that were shading across the map, but they instantly got brought back home. And so without applying any pressure, this has been a little bit funky at the moment, as we do see the Hydra's Den, a couple more Spine Crawlers on the way up. Baneley Speed is coming through here from Reynor as well. And again, a lot more Zerglings of Reynor just running up towards the upper left-hand side and looking to see what he can do here. So the Zerglings just hanging out in the top left again. Adepts, Zealots, Archons, all of this gathered together from Neeb at the moment. Just going in between the Natural and the third, and Immortal coming down. He's going to load up a couple of those Archons and go and drop them across. So maybe finally Neeb going to be able to apply some pressure, as Reynor pretty much unharassed has a fourth base up and running. 67 workers. Big counterattack right away. I mean, Oracle's nice and all, but there's no point where the Oracle only kills so many Zerglings fast enough. And we've seen a couple more probes still going down here. The Lings maybe shouldn't have fought those Zealots. They were pretty well kind of clumped up and kind of in a corner, so that didn't help them too much, as the Lings and Banes ready to defend over here. Hydras as well, although Bane speed will help even more so, and that's about to finish it up. So it actually looks as though he'll get it before a fight. So lucky for Reynor, Neeb decided to back away there. The Prism in the main base now with the Archons. Well, oh, the Banes actually crash into morphing in Zealots, so he kills one Archon, shuts down the Zealots. Reynor is so fast to jump on that complete shutdown. Again, more of these Banes just rolling forwards here, and we're going to be seeing the Hydras and the Queens continue to fight. Hydra's able to press through, and I mean, these Zealots still attacking forwards, but the Lings coming down with a couple more Banes about to finish up, and Banes from the main base as well. Those Adepts and Zealots will not be too much of a threat any longer, and so Reynor will absolutely crush his way through this. Lings and Banes keep on streaming in. So much damage dealt. Immediately a GG from Neeb, and Reynor ends up taking game number 1 of this best of 5. We're on the loading screen, and let's jump into this. Dip our toes in as we have to the top right our blue Protoss. Well, game number 1 started off good, but kind of went downhill very quickly. Neeb trying to fight back in the top right hand side. Bottom left hand side, our red Zerg player. This is Reynor. Up 1-0 in this best of 5 series. And looking to see if he can continue in toward a 2-0 lead. Not that 2-0 lead makes him invincible. We just saw you fell below the 2-0 lead, unfortunately. But it would be a hell of a position to play from. And for the first time, I really feel Neeb's PVZ has felt a little bit mortal, because until now, I really felt as though Neeb's PVZ was actually looking insane the last few days. So let's It's pretty crazy as we do see this probe just hanging around behind the minerals. And, well, we saw this against the laser earlier as well, just how annoying he can be by nibbling away on those minerals again and again and again. Drone fights back to get back on it, as again another probe just poking some drones away. Just jumping between patches and again being as frustrating as he can. As Reynor, I feel like Reynor doesn't even care so much about it compared to what a laser did. A laser was really fighting back against this and really recontrolling his drones back on. Reynor's doing it here and there. Not as much as the laser did though, so I'm not sure if actually what's even better. Sometimes it feels as though it may just be better to just leave the drones to go and do their own thing. Obviously, keeping them somewhat stacked up is definitely better. But it's so frustrating to deal with. And obviously, you don't have anything else to do at this stage of the game, really. So, microing your drones back onto mineral patches when Neeb tries to be annoying with them is definitely a good little way. You can see Reynor putting a little bit more attention to it now. It does feel like before he was just skipping a couple of opportunities to do it. But, again, definitely fixing it up now. And this probe is actually just so annoying. God damn it. Well, Ling's on the way out, and that's when we're going to be seeing this probe leaving the main base, dropping down to the natural expansion. Stargate drops in from Neeb in the main base, so again, that's started up, and we are going to be seeing the Ling speed coming up from Reynor. Again, a few Zerglings of Reynor heading up on the top side, and that probe of Neeb just going to be pulling away there. Again, getting the information that there is probably interest in the third base is nice. He'll confirm it with the Adept soon enough. And again, just going to be running on in. Actually ends up just shading from here to there. Just trying to pick up whatever info he can. Waiting for Adept number 2 is usually the best way if you actually want to deal damage, because the 2 Adepts one-shot and a drone is pretty powerful. It doesn't look as though we're going to be seeing the, well, too much being done. Overall, no second Adept coming across the map, actually, as we see the Phoenix on the way out from Neeb to begin with on the Stargate. So just a single Adept here, holding the map. Did he even check the third? He didn't, but I'm pretty sure he assumes that it's there. I don't know if he saw the drone before, but there's no reason for him not to check it if he didn't know, or really assume so. No shitting back here, and again, still, I like it. Moving into the middle of the map, we see those Zerglings running through, and they get spotted by that Adept. And you'll have the 2 Adepts just sat there in the wall off, and the Phoenix here from Neeb is going to be heading down towards the bottom left-hand side. Another Stargate in the main means this is going to be double Stargate Phoenix. Double Stargate Phoenix on the way up right now. As again, a couple of Koreans and Reynor trying to see what they can do. Phoenix and Oracle going to jump in towards the main base as the Phoenix gets lifted up. And again, Oracle just going to try and get some kills. But second Queen pops out just in time. In time for the Phoenix to get out of there as well. It's just the one drone. Oh, the Queen flank hits the Oracle. Reynor bringing his Queens into a bit of an unorthodox position, but picking that up. Well, now we're going to be seeing more drones on the way out. Lair coming through here from Reynor. Roachron dropping down in the natural as well. But everything so far, this game, considering the last game started off very Neeb favored, I feel, this game is all about Reynor so far. I mean, killing the Oracle is already huge. It takes away a lot of the control, and it makes it very difficult for Neeb to take a third base when he's building Phoenix, because the Oracle won't be there to defend against the Zerglings. So losing that is actually a huge, huge, huge deal. So it's coming down to the bottom left. Third Nexus from Neeb going to drop down as well. A pile on 2. Roachron about to finish up from Reynor. As we see that Lair also about to finish from Reynor as well in the natural. As Phoenix coming over, going to grab a couple of drones already. Queen still coming over as well to push away these Phoenix. And those Phoenix going to end up going around the top side. Zerglings coming over, and they're just going to loop around and again try and fight against a few of those Adepts. Lings taking a little bit of damage there. And Reynor kind of wants to jump in towards the Zealot there, but isn't really going to be able to. Zealot actually gets poor Zealot. The sentry's like, you know, it's like that Reynor Party game where you have the play the sentry game in Reynor Party and you try and force field your friends out to be like, yeah, I pushed you into a bailing. That was this sentry right here, like force fields the Zealot out into the Lings. Oh, the sentry goes down as the Lings are starting to break through. Again, this is the problem with not having an Oracle. And Reynor realizes it, and I think he thinks he can definitely break through a bit more here. I mean, those Zealots are going to go down, but the Adepts coming back over from the third. Lings will end up leaving. Now, the Phoenix across the map did already pick up a few of those worker kills, although did lose one Phoenix in amongst this. So, honestly, the resources lost 1.1k to 1,000. It's not really where you want to be at as Neeb. Down in resources lost in a PvZ where you're playing double Stargate Phoenix. That's, very much so not kind of what you're expecting to have happen. As we are going to be seeing a couple of drones now will go down. Usually the Phoenix can get at least 1,000 resources lost lead, if not more, if they're doing a great job. And I mean, when it's Neeb, you're usually expecting at least 1,500, 2,000 resources lost. So this is such a different situation as we do see those Queens from Reynor starting to march through the center of the map. Things just gathering up on the high ground. Queen's pushing across, so Reynor's very interested in ending this game right about now. No upgrades, just 59 drone, Ling, Roach, Ravager, Queen. I was obviously going to start reinforcing with Lings. He's actually making 7 more overlords because he's massively supply blocked. Sentries on the high ground will be able to force field, but then you've got those Ravager files to break through that. And that'll burn through those force fields pretty quickly, so you can't just force field here forever as Neeb. You have to have an answer at some point. Stasis Ward on the high ground could be good as well. Queen there will be mass transfused, although that's obviously taking away through the transfuse energy. Another force field coming down. I think that's the last one available on those sentries for the moment. Ravager's gets some damage done behind this. Needs the Stasis Ward to go off, and not too much, and it will just get a couple of Queens. That's okay, actually, as we're going to be seeing shield batteries trying to build up in a forward position here. Well, now the Phoenix coming in, lifting up a bunch of these Ravagers. If we look underneath, we see those Zealots in a depth picking up a Queen as well. Ravager's still in the background. They're going to get dropped back down now as the Phoenix trying to lift up a few more. The Oracle gets the Stasis Ward off, so it hits a bunch of these Ravagers. Reynor can't get Lings through because the Queens and the Ravagers are walling it off. And it feels like Reynor's just going to be losing a ton of units now. Going in towards an infestation pit, trying to see what he can do. Those couple of Ravagers still just going to be sat here, going to get picked away by these Immortals pretty quickly. Obviously, the Phoenix can lift them, although actually the Phoenix are out of energy pretty much, so no more lifts really available. There's one more lift in a second. We'll stop for the Overlord. Will he go lift a Ravager? The Ravagers are going to get back to the Queens anyway, so probably not worth lifting anymore. Oops, loses a Phoenix there. Neeb with a good defense then. Infestation pit from Reynor. You have to imagine his plan here probably to go in towards something along the lines of a, looking towards going in towards Swarm Hosts. We'll see things and Roaches turning around. We're going to be seeing a couple of Roaches getting picked away at here. Some more Ravagers finishing morphing in. Neeb's going to recall out of there, though. Doesn't like this position. The Corrosive Bowels will grab a couple of sentries. And Neeb just saying, you know what, this is just a little few too many units right now. Let's just take my time about this. And we should be good. This Immortal's going to get home safely as well as Neeb. Well, he sits back on 3 bases. The 4th base of Reynor just finished. He's only on 65 drones, which is nowhere near where you usually want to be at as a Zerg player. But obviously, there was a really tough position in this game where Reynor decided to try and all in. And it didn't work out. And by that attack not working, he's definitely playing from a deficit here. No upgrades or anything, as the Queen transfusions will be good to protect that Ravager, but it's burning energy. You know, it's energy for energy, right? So even if you don't kill the Ravager, at least you're getting something out of it. As the Phoenix just being as annoying as they can, their energy is completely drained all of the time here. And that means the Phoenix have had the absolute most out of themselves that they could have gotten, right? Because you can't actually get much more out of these Phoenix in this sort of stage. As you see the Phoenix coming through the bottom side. Now they're going to head up the right as well and see where they can get to, as an Oracle chilling out on the bottom from Neeb as well. And again, a few more High Templar just warping in with Storm as well coming down from Neeb, getting that set to go. Shield batteries on the way up here from Neeb as well, so getting that underway as we do see Roaches, Ravagers, and Swarm Hosts all coming through the bottom side of this. Phoenix just hanging out in the bottom, and well, boom, already lifting up a Ravager. Now Neeb will see the Swarm Host for the first time. Storm isn't done just yet, but it is well on the way. There isn't a lot of splash damage to actually deal with this first wave of Locusts, really. Maybe the Phoenix could help out, and they will get rid of a couple Locusts. The Immortals tanking nicely, and actually the Locusts don't kill anything there right away, although the Roaches and Ravagers do grab one Immortal that was a little bit too far to the south compared to the rest of the units. Storm about to complete on that Templar Archives, and we still see Zerglings running around as well. +1 missile attack from Reynor, about halfway done. And we still see Reynor with Roaches, Ravages, and Swarm Hosts all set up down at the bottom side here. Ling's coming through the top. And they're going to be running by in towards... Well, they wanted to run by in towards this base. And, again, Reynor just, again, moving around to see what's going to happen. Lings, maybe, well, again, trying to deal some damage there. We've seen a couple of surrounds. You're going to be seeing a couple of Zealots getting picked away at. Again, good damage done. Ling's taking a bunch of damage at the moment. Swarm Host still pressing through the center of the map from Reynor. Locust going to jump up and move forwards, and well, going to be trying to drop down on top of this army. So Locust again going to try and see what they can do here. The storms are pretty good, and Neeb does clean them up. Again, Reynor's playing from deficit as the Immortals are just wandering around on their own on the left side. But yeah, Reynor's playing from a bit of a kind of a pushback position, which means that it's no surprise to see Neeb just dealing with Locust Wave after Locust Wave without issue. Now the Locusts are going to try and just buy time, I think, because Neeb is getting to a point where he's probably just going to start looking to kill. Zealots in the middle of the map going to find a whole bunch of Queens. Going to be chasing them down. Those Queens running away down to the bottom left-hand side. Couple of Queens taking some damage. Third Queen goes down as well. We're going to be seeing the Roaches and the Ravagers continuing to fight, picking off a whole bunch of those Zealots. On the top right-hand side, Locusts are dropping down and just going to be dealing a whole bunch of damage as well. Doing a pretty good job of this as Neeb still pressing forwards. A couple of storms coming in. I mean, again, as soon as Neeb got maxed out here, he looked as though he was ready to come and kill, and we're already going to get rid of this hatchery. Another storm on those Ravagers. They're not the highest of hit point units, those Ravagers, so a couple of storms on them, and they really do start to take a ton of damage. A couple more corrosive bars coming down, but this entire base picked off. 13 drones with it. And the safer thing for Neeb to do here would just be back away, build up a little bit more, and that is what he's starting to do. We see those carriers actually starting to be produced. And again, Swarm Host coming back towards the upper right hand side as well. Locusts are going to pop up and they are going to start moving forwards, dropping down on this Nexus in the next couple of moments here. High Templar going to drop down a couple of storms, and oh my god, they're very good storms to bring these Locusts very low, but it actually may still not be enough. Just saves the Nexus. Now those storms brought all those Locusts super low there, so that was a little bit crazy. Well, in the meantime, we're going to be seeing this army still from Neeb pushing through the top side. Ling's coming across. Oh, the Zealot's not in hold position, so Reynor's run by will go through into the main and into the natural. And Neeb has to respond to this. Nice Zealot warp in there. Neeb will have carriers here as well, which is going to be seen by Reynor. So Reynor getting scouting information. Ling is able to pick up a Zealot. A couple probes continuing to go down here as well. So probes going down all over the place, actually. In the center of the map, Storm's still coming down on a bunch of these Locusts. So a lot of damage being dealt. And again, just going to be seeing those Zealots continuing to pick off all of those Zerglings. So much damage being done here. As we see Neeb still moving around in the middle. Archons and Immortals picking their way through these rocks on the bottom side. So rocks will fall. And again, Roaches up to the top, going to chase down. Well, that Adept is going to get chased down to begin with. Again, Zealot's going to be charging in, and Swarm Host already been kind of found in a little bit of trouble there. Ravagers will save them at least from the Zealots, although the Phoenix now going to be lifting up those Ravagers, keeps them in position for the rest of the army to chase on in. So Locusts dropping down pretty quickly here, and well, there's not going to be any detection for those Locusts to actually fight, so Locusts get cleaned out, and pushing forwards, Neeb is maxed against a 160 supply Reynor. He's trying to build Corruptors to go into, I think, Broodlords, but I mean, even if he gets into the Broods here, there's already a bit of an answer with Corruptors in the sky, carriers in the sky. There's no way Reynor can afford Broodlords and enough Corruptors to fight those carriers, so that's where it gets tough, because now that is his bottom side. That was his attempt at retaking a fourth base, essentially. That's denied. He's supply blocked as well, so he has to find the minerals to rebuild Overlords. And Neeb is really just bullying Reynor around right now. As you see the Corruptors coming in, going to find a carrier right away. Storm's coming down. Ravagers dropping as well. Drops a time up on the ground, as we're going to be seeing, well, another Storm on top of the Corruptors. Most of the carriers are dropping pretty quickly here. The Archons and Neeb dealing damage to the Corruptors, though. the thing is, if the Corruptors are going down, they're not morphing into broods, and this ground army still feels somewhat unstoppable. And I mean, Neeb also has half of his army to the top side of the map that's also not been part of this fight. So there you go, that's obviously a bit of an issue as well, although these Locusts might be able to kill that pretty quickly. And the Templar there doesn't really respond. The other Locust coming over here, maybe just trying to protect this hatchery, but again, I think it's a foregone conclusion that Reynor does not really have a way to defend in this game. Neeb picks up game number 2, and we are now as we're tied up 1-1 in the bottom right side. Our blue Protoss player, this is Neeb, who just tied this up 1-1. And to the top left, our red Zerg is Reynor. You have to imagine that whoever doesn't advance out of these couple of matches, out of these couple of players in this match, has a really, really good shot of advancing through the lower bracket. Because for me, these are two of the favorites that have just unfortunately ended up on the same side of the bracket. Pretty crazy as we do see the setup here going in. Fuelings on the way out. And a couple of Lings chasing down a probe to well, get that going. So a couple of Lings chasing down the probe early on here. That's not going to do too much here from Neeb at all. It is a pool first with a faster gas as well. So Ling speed pretty quick from Reynor means that he will be able to apply a good little bit of pressure. And we'll see what exactly he wants to do with it. He's making even more Zerglings. So there's still a drone on the way with it too. Let's see what happens. As the Queen comes up especially, I mean, injects are going to start popping out. And with those injects, you really start to see just how many Lings he wants to make. If this is just a bit of early pressure, or if it's something that much more. And as we already see a probe coming forward. Now, this wall is not completed, and the Adept shades out, so this pylon is under threat. Or he just goes for probes. He sends 2 Lings onto the probes on the natural, 2 Lings up into the main base. Across the map, kept 4 Lings here to help him defend against the Adept as well. Finds 1 probe so far into the main. Again, it's also just scouting information. He does see that Stargate. Although he already has the Overlord here. Neeb rallied to that Overlord as well. So going to be opening Phoenix first, it would seem. More Zerglings on the way out right now from Reynor, as we do see Adept in the corner of the main base getting picked off as well. Another pylon dropping down here. It's a bit of a funky wall from Neeb because obviously this is kind of a weak point. If there was Banes coming in, I don't think there will be Banes coming in. It's actually okay because it's not that much surface area, but again, Banes would bust through this pretty quickly. So again, bit of a funky one here on Blue Shift. Usually I think the walls are a little bit further set back, so it's like here and here and something like that. I'm not going to lie. As much as I see the Protoss walls game after game after game, I am no expert on them. Some people really love watching Protoss walls and how they do them. Rotti will talk to you about how to wall off as a Protoss player all day long, every day. I am definitely not that kind of caster or that sort of player, so I mean, I guess that's what happens when you don't play Protoss, eh? We do see a few Lings just set off over to the left-hand side here. So Reynor just hanging out at the moment with those few Zerglings. Phoenix here nibbling its way through this Overlord. Drone's going down the other side. Oracle actually picking up a kill. Oh, just gets out of there as well. Neeb is so good at pulling this Oracle away at the right time. I mean, he kept the one alive early until the Queen flank from Reynor was so sick on Blue Shift that he was able to pick it off. And Reynor goes into a fairly quick lair here. Lair before third hatchery even. Again, that Ling speed at the moment isn't really doing much for him apart from keeping the Adepts back at home. And again, the Phoenix comes in, scouts the lair as well, so Reynor somewhat figured out. And what can you do with a faster lair here from Reynor? I mean, in terms of aggressive possibilities, maybe you're thinking about a Nidus or something, but I don't really think that makes sense with what Reynor's building. I also think obviously something like a Roach attack doesn't make sense without a Roach run right now, because you're not going to start Roach speed on time. So I think it has to be a Hydralisk stand, unless he throws a complete curveball and tries to play like a very fast Spire. That's something that could be, again, just a complete way to change this up. The Hydralisk Den, you know, fast Hydras is definitely something we can see, something that works out quite nicely. Good defense against the Stasis Ward, pulls away instantly, and it is going to be the Hydra Den coming down. It makes the most sense from what we've seen so far. Again, like a fast Spire, we barely ever seen ZvP. That would be really kind of crazy and out there. The Templar guys followed, coming in from Neeb, kind of, you know, also is a good way to shut down Muters already, Prism and Archons. I mean, there's not going to be tons of Muters either as well, right? So the Hydra's Den makes the most sense. Now, we'll see how aggressive Reynor wants to get. 50 drone, kind of Ling Hydra all-ins were very popular for a while, but haven't seen them for a little bit. Hydras did get a bit of a nerf in that most recent patch, so well, we'll see what his choices are going to be as we have that Phoenix wandering down towards the bottom left-hand side. Meanwhile, on the upper right, 2 Adepts and 2 Zealots chasing those Zerglings around as they go darting on in, and they are going to pick up a probe right there. There's the Stalker with the Oracle overhead as well. is going to be good for the defense. Just a couple more Lings getting picked off at the moment. There's that prism coming across the map, and again with 6 gates going up into 2 more, this is real kind of levels of aggression from Neeb. There is so much possibility for him to just overrun Reynor here, because he is only Ling Hydra. I feel like only Ling Hydra is very weak against this setup in Neeb, where he's going to warp in a bunch of zealots. He's going to have charge very soon. Reynor's trying to rush in towards Lurker Den. Nexus cancel here, so he does stop the third base from coming up. But what's he going to do to stop his own third base going down? Well, the Hydras are wandering on forwards now. I mean, honestly, with charge about to finish, I feel like if you get away here as Neeb and you warp in 8 more zealots and turn around and fight this, you're going to have a hell of a time. And there's no way Reynor's going to chase this off creep, so you're going to be able to stop, warp in the extra zealots. Only 6 for now, but he does have 8 gates, and there you go. 2 more high temp before an extra Archon. Neeb's going to look to kill him. He did something like this on Ultimaton yesterday against Sort of in the first stage of this qualifier. And, well, it did just kill Sort of. And actually in a similar game as well, because Lings and Hydras were the setup there from Sort of. Here we go, Zealot's go charging in. The Queens will do a good job tanking right away. They're much tankier than the Hydras, but they do miss their transfusions, so missing out a little bit of their survivability. As Neeb still pressing forwards, Archon's coming up the ramp. Hydras pushed away. A couple of Zealots left behind to deal with those drones and the hatchery. And right now, Neeb just again letting his Archons wander forwards ahead of the rest, because he knows he can get a lot done, although he does lose one Archon. And we've seen the Zealots from the third base going to be running up here as well. And Reynor's going to type GG, because he actually just does not have a way to survive again. Information, the WCS Winter Qualifier has just been released. I was just reading up on that a quick little moment or two there. Let's focus back up on our series. We're now in game. Bottom right hand side, our blue Protoss player here from Ting. This is Neeb. Up against the red Zerg, top left, Reynor. So off and away into this right now. As we get this going, Reynor will throw out a quick little pause here. So hopefully nothing too serious, nothing that's going to keep us held back for all too long right now. Game resumes, and nice and quickly we're going into game number 4. And Reynor just about to put down that hatchery first, so not a big pause, not a long pause, just a couple of moments there while we figured out what was going on. And we are going to be seeing this Overlord just flying around a little bit here from Reynor, seeing what's up. Probe from Neeb is heading in towards the upper left hand side. Going to be moving up towards the main base here. And as you do see the hatch, the extractor coming down, getting this going. Gateway drops in here as well from Neeb. And again, match point for him. Reynor, though, he's a resilient little guy, and he's definitely been in this position before. Down in the series, his opponent just needs one map to win it out. And obviously, Reynor, he's fought back from those positions before. He's been on the big stage as well. I mean, grand finals of WCS Montreal. This kid's got a lot of experience under his belt back in 2018. Trying to put it into progress in 2019 is, well, this would be one hell of a result to start the year. Qualifying for the Katowice round of 24 already. As much as I'd love Neeb to qualify as well, I do feel at least Neeb has another chance to play in the Asian server qualifiers, the Korean server qualifiers. Obviously, Reynor doesn't really have that same chance. Reynor doesn't really have that same chance because playing on the European server to Korea is going to be very tough for him, whereas Neeb, I think, gets a reasonable ping to Korea. I guess it's not great because he is East Coast. I guess it's also not going to be as bad as Reynor's. Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a lower bracket still to play today as well, guys, so there's still a lot of chances for qualification. As you do see this Adept of Neeb starting to move out through the center of the map, and this Probe of Neeb drops down a pylon. Well, that's going to get picked away at pretty quickly, so Zerglin's going to be able to take that pylon down, and if we see the third hatchery dropping into position. And again, Reynor just bringing these Zerglings back up in towards the natural expansion. So Ling's back up into the natural as we see the Stargate from Neeb dropping down now in the main base. Again, that going as the Overlord coming across the map as well from Reynor, looking to see what's going on. Let's get started, and again, just seeing that Adept shading out onto the map as the Adept finishes up. Takes a little bit of damage though. And again, Adept just continuing to back away here with that single shade coming in to see what else is happening. He's been opening Stargate every single game, which is not really all too surprising, of course. Stargate openers here have been a go-to for quite a long time in PvZ, and there's a good reason for it. The Stargate opener really allows you to go in towards a setup which is, it's very safe. You get that Oracle out, you can use the Oracle to shut down the third, Lings on the third Nexus and so on. You get the Phoenix for scouting information, and well, if you want to play double Stargate, Phoenix to open with the first Stargate obviously makes a little bit of sense as well. So double Stargates here, as we do see this first Phoenix is heading up towards the upper side. Oracle of Neeb heading in towards the upper left-hand side as well. So that's going to be flying through in towards the main base. Sport Crawler finishes up here from Reynor, and well, Phoenix going to take some damage. Now the Sport Crawler will target that Oracle, otherwise it will just sit here and kill multiple drones. I mean, I say multiple, he's already got 3, but obviously could be even more. To the right side from Reynor, as we do see him just spreading that creep out. He's playing a melee upgrade opener. It's actually very good against the Phoenix because, again, you're going to struggle to get a third base up if you only have Phoenix to defend what can be a heck of a lot of Zerglings. Things coming down to the bottom side here. Just going to see a couple more Phoenix on the way up. They're going to be coming in towards the main base right now, gathering together. So Neeb's still getting these going. A few Lings again just sat over the right hand side, ready to run down, and I will just kind of sit here and be annoying. I mean, that's going to be a probe kill right away if he targets for the probe, and he will go for the probe. Of course he will. So Lings coming through the center. We see a Phoenix coming down, and again a Baneling Nest about halfway up here, +1 melee, about 75% of the way done. And again, just going to be seeing the Oracle flying around. Phoenix coming over as well. With all of these Lings on the map again, this is where you kind of want to counterattack into that third base. But it's tough. I mean, there is 2 Adepts, 2 Zealots, and a Sentry. So you need to make sure you have plenty if you want to go for that. As Reynor, for the moment, just cranking up the drones and using the Queens to try and intercept the Phoenix already. Has some decent damage onto them, lowering their HPs a little bit. Maybe with some Spore Crawler target firing. Maybe a Phoenix or 2 actually goes down here. It's tough though when they clump up like that. And obviously the Phoenix can also be very much so kept away. There go the Lings across the map. Again, they have that +1 melee. Let's see what they can do as they jump straight on the first zone, take some damage. Sentry force fields are good, but still not good enough to save the Sentry because the Sentry gets force fielded in with a few Zerglings. So a couple of kills there from Reynor, who'll now back away. I just heard a recall sound, but apparently I'm mistaken. Phoenix still here up on the top. 6 of them at the moment, although some of them are really battered and bruised. Again, 1 Phoenix has already gone down as well. And he's going up to a 7th and 8th. Going into a couple more as well. So still building that Phoenix count up at the moment. As the Phoenix escape down the left side. Zergling's going to be moving through the center. Once again, maybe thinking about that third Nexus. But there's a few more units there now. The Oracle's in position too. And the Zergling's able to come in and pick up a probe kill. So probe going down. And on the left side, the Phoenix is going to be coming across and getting ready to lift up a few of those drones as well, perhaps. Phoenix flying around, and again, going to find right away a good few drone pickoffs. So 4 workers going down. And again, you're just going to turn back in towards the natural expansion where even more workers are getting picked off. That is 9 workers killed. So 9 workers down as we're going to be seeing the Phoenix. Still flying around, Spore Crawler and a Queen able to pick up that kill, and again, another Phoenix having dropped there as we see Queen lifts up. The Phoenix going to be able to keep picking away at it. Man, this is really so much damage dealt already as Neeb. Again, having so much more success with this than last time. 1.8 to 1.1k resources lost. And that's only going to keep growing as, well, he leaves that drone behind. It's lucky. Phoenix coming up the top side. Zergling's going to be sitting out in the middle as well. We do see that Oracle flying around the right side too. Fourth hatchery here from Reynor is going to be finishing up in a few moments. And again, just going to be having the Queens able to pick off a Phoenix just like that. So Phoenix drops on down. Another Overlord getting picked off there, and again a couple of drones can also get picked away out here now too. We're still running around with a bunch of Zerglings. Another Queen out of position. This one full of energy too. It's these mistakes from Reynor right now that are allowing Neeb to get a little bit further ahead, although that's another Phoenix killed, so maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. This game is still in the balance. So many Zerglings ready to dart on in, but this wall-off is pretty insane. Well, don't think it takes this many Zerglings to kill that one probe, but they will go for it. Boom! No fourth base for you. Not just yet, at least. Meanwhile, Hydra's Baneling speed, Hydra speed as well, all on the way up at the moment. And still taking a few shots of damage. Nexus will drop on this fourth base in a moment or so. Phoenix still coming into the top side. Flying around all over the place. 30 more Zerglings being made. 4 more Hydras on the way up. Plus 2 melee upgrades. About to complete here from Reynor. As we see those Phoenix coming in overhead and picking up a couple of Zerglings. More and more Hydras still on the way out. A couple of Zelds coming over as well. On the left hand side, the Oracle going to go flying forwards too and is going to be looking to, again, try and pick up some info. Revelation on the Hydras is nice, of course, keep track of where they are hanging out. Bottom side, this Corona boost on the mothership. Trying to get that up as well. Zerglings come again. Darting along, heading for the natural. Adept will get in there and hold position. So that's going to be a defense. And again, the Oracle's also nearby too. Doesn't let anything happen now. I mean, Neeb is getting to that point where he just wants to sit back, but Reynor, he's playing that Lingbane Hydra. He's about to hit Infestation Pit, so it's time to make a decision. How aggressive does he want to get? How much does he want to try and trade? Because those are kind of things he's going to have to try and decide very shortly here, as we do see a couple of those Crypt Tumors coming on down. Reynor still just hanging out with these few Hydras. Up to the top, Lingbane Hydra down on the bottom, and again, extra Banelings currently just morphing in from Reynor, as he really wants to push through this and over towards the natural, as we do have the Hydras and Banes going to start pushing away through a couple of these Phoenix. And this is where Reynor's obviously Lingbane Hydra style becomes very good when he forced the Protoss player to split up his army. Couple of mortals here, good to push that away. Meanwhile, Zelt counterattack from Neeb on the bottom left-hand side, and over here as well, that Queen going to fall. So drones fallen, Queen fallen, and Neeb is going to force Reynor to pull back home. And that buys Neeb a little bit of extra time to set up into that mothership and other units which will help him to defend. And of course, from there, we have Reynor also in the meantime going in towards the Hive and the Spires. The Infestation Pit was for the Hive. He's looking for the Broodlord play, and will he get there successfully? Well, that's going to be tough to know. Neeb will generally just sit back right now. No need to get too aggressive just yet. Phoenix still hanging out overhead. A couple of storms kind of miss everything apart from actually his own Phoenix, so that's a little bit painful. Lings, Banes, and Hydra still heading back up to the top left. Ooh, a couple of Banes going off on the rocks there, I think. Also a slight mistake, as now Neeb is going to attack just before the potential Broodlord. Zealot's coming in. I don't know if Neeb needs to be attacking. I guess the mothership obviously allows him to, and he's maxed out. I feel like he could maybe wait a little bit longer. Here you go. Bane's coming crashing in. The High Templar's trying to storm, but some Banes get underneath. Honestly, I feel Reynor takes a pretty decent start to this fight, but needs reinforcements to keep it going. Phoenix are lifting up what they can, and now Neeb is going to be able to pick off this base up to the top side. So that hatchery goes down. A few more Zerglings being picked away at, and we still have Neeb throwing down that Time Warp, so he's going to be able to get away pretty safely. Or does he want to keep on pressing in? I don't think he does. I think he wants to build up a few more High Templar, get a few more Storms. There are carriers beginning to build from Neeb, though, so getting a few carriers up, getting those ready to go. I mean, obviously, if you can get into carriers here, it becomes really tough for Reynor once again. The Banes actually crash into all the Immortals. It means that their barriers are all popped. Hydra still trying to chase up this ramp again. There's no storms remaining. Neeb maybe needed to think about pulling away a little bit sooner, but Reynor's army is also dropping down pretty fast as well. If Neeb does get back to reinforcements, I think Reynor is in a lot of trouble. These Hydras are the biggest issue, and, well, I tell you what, it could just really do with a few High Templar and Storms, couldn't it? Because these Hydras will melt to those. But again, so far, Neeb has run out of those, as we do see the Banes rolling on in, but not really being that successful. Force fields to stop the Hydras getting away. The High Templar don't have energy for just a little while longer. Phoenix are lifting up what they can as the Mothership will drop down. High Templar just pulling back a little bit further again. They're moments away from their Storms. Any second now, Storms will drop down, and there they are on top of the army. Hydras and Queens taking damage alike. Parry is about to show up midway through this, as well as Reynor's going to pull back, and Neeb trying to chase him down, but he just can't as Reynor gets back to creep spread. A few of those Hydras escaping away, but really Neeb in a position there where, well, I mean, he needed those Storms just maybe a little sooner even. He had to fight those Hydras without them for such a long time, and the Hydra damage output is crazy good. It is crazy good, so you have to be very careful about it. As we do see these couple carriers flying around, and again, these Hydras and Banes down in the center. Also just moving around a little bit. Couple more carriers about to pop out. An Immortal on the way out, or a couple of Immortals on the way out. Still rebuilding those. New Mothership is now still yet to be built too, which is, I thought it was in the production time. Maybe I'm going crazy. But no new Mothership either. Still Linkbait Hydra from Reynor as he tries to break through this. Still no attempt to kind of really tech up from him. I mean, he got that Great Aspire, but he isn't building Corruptors or anything. He kills the Interceptors on those carriers, but he doesn't have any follow-up to it. He still loses the units. And, well, carriers rebuilding Interceptors. Maybe Neeb doesn't want to push that far forward. The Lings will grab a couple of Mortals on the ground. Well, new Interceptors showing up as the new carriers arrive. Archon's going to try and help this out, and Neeb will once again be pushing Reynor away. I mean, now Reynor builds 8 Corruptors. Is that just for the carriers? It has to be. I don't think he can morph in Broods because they're going to get picked apart by carriers. He doesn't have enough to defend them. So I think now Reynor has to morph those Corruptors in and just keep them as Corruptors to hunt down carriers. But now he doesn't, because he's building Corruptors, he doesn't have as strong of a ground army, which means he's not going to be as good against these Immortals and these Archons. Feelings already darting to the top side. I've used the word or the description darting a lot this series. I don't know why. I just feel like it's Reynor's Zerglings. They seem to just go everywhere so quickly, and they always seem to be so sneaky running in places compared to other people's Zerglings. We do see that cannon gets picked off. Some Zealots will try and charge down on towards those Lings. Unsuccessful so far, though. Interceptors are still building up here for Neeb. Again, a few more of those ready to go. And we do have, again, creep out in the center. Well, that's going to keep Reynor just a little bit safe because it means that Neeb can't very comfortably push in towards his bottom left bases. It means he can very much so focus this army here and just look to defend this position because that's the easiest base for Neeb to press into. If Neeb did go bottom left, then Reynor would have time to position his army against where Neeb is attacking. And here we go, Archons in the front. Storms are really good on those Banes on the right side. The way he laid them, 1 then 2, so the Banes will be running through both of the Storms was just fantastic. More Storms on the Corruptors, as yes, they might be taking down the carriers, but you know what? I'm not sure if that really matters. Another couple of Storms coming in. There's one more available. The last few Interceptors are hunted down these Corruptors. They are so low, those Corruptors. Oh my god, the Corruptors going down one at a time. And Neeb will take down this base. He'll take down Reynor here. Probes went down to a bit of a counterattack, but that's been dealt with now as Zealots and Archons are coming across. And at the same time, well, Neeb has Zealots in the third base as well. He's already killed 40 workers here. Reynor will push in with Lings and Hydras, but he will have to drop to the lower bracket and try to qualify as the final player from the European server, because Neeb right here is just a little bit too good. GG's. Neeb takes it down 3-1. His PvZ this week has looked absolutely impeccable. In that first game against Reynor, he looked a bit shaky, but he